Hi, it's Xavier and welcome to my bonsai retreat. Hopefully today I'm going to clear up one of my biggest and worst bonsai mistakes. And yeah, I know everyone thinks, oh, clickbait title, but it's not, seriously. It all surrounds my Japanese maple. And many of you will know that back in 2014 I had the opportunity to get, I think it was 115 one-year-old seedlings, and it cost me the grand total of £8. What, $6? I had no idea what to do with them, like many of us who are finding our way in this hobby. And I went from planting them out in nursery beds and putting them into pots, and just every year I do something different with them, which, to be fair, is probably the first of my biggest mistakes. And sometimes, as has been pointed out to me a number of times in comments, quite rightly, stop fiddling, leave it alone.
Leave it alone, dear.
I know someone else used to say that. Anyway, enough of that. But yeah, and I've been guilty of thinking I have to do something with these trees every single year. But that isn't the biggest problem. Can you guess what it is? I'm actually sure it's a problem that many of us face at this level of enjoyment, and that's our desire to put our newly found creations into bonsai pots. And you know, I found a great ceramicist, Dawn Isaac, and you know that's the only person I scream about. Fantastic pots, and she's given me the opportunity to have some lovely, lovely pots. So the first thing I do is I put something like this in it, and realise that Mame is anything up to 10 centimetres, so that's got to be a Mame. And if we go down technical discussions, maybe it is, but truthfully, it's just a way I've found to stunt and stop my trees developing as they could have. Because does anyone here or out there want to have a guess in the comments how old that is? They're all the same age, but that really typifies the reason why this was such a big error that I made. I mean, I've got a lot of these, and many of them I'm really happy, and I like how they look in the pots. And for me at hobbyist level, I'm happy to call them Mame. But truthfully, when you look at the Mame and what it actually represents, it should represent an aged tree, but just even more miniaturized. And the best example I can give you of that is this little Chinese elm. Chinese elm itself is 10 years old. It was originally a much taller tree. It's been cut down. It's got a substantial root system. The roots have been clipped in, but they're more than just 3 or 4 roots in the pot. And I'm slowly developing a structure. So this is something that I would consider is probably closer to what we should describe as Mame. Another example would be this Sycamore, and although I've kept it in this small pot, I've done it the slow way. So it started off as a 1-2 year old cutting, which goes to show you can actually turn your sticks in pots into decent Mame Bonsai. But because it's a vigorous grower, all I do is I keep cutting it down, allowing more branches to grow, then removing and cutting them off, and slowly establishing what you get here is a nice root base, a flare, good set of roots, so that it is in essence representing an old tree in a small pot. And again, we've got this ash which was growing in the wild for 6, 7, 8 years, and I retrieved it back in 2018, 2019, put it in a load of nice soil, and then let it grow for a year, and then chopped it from 4 foot down to 6 inches. And now I'm slowly developing this into what I'd like to be a proper Mame Bonsai. But the first part of the process that I skipped with all these maples was the time in the ground to develop that trunk, to develop that age, and to develop a decent root system. So I now need to remedy that. Now, just because I define it that way, it doesn't mean you have to. Yeah, so I'm going to take these sticks in pots, and don't get me wrong, I don't mean that in a negative way. I've actually got lots of sticks in pots, and they look quite nice. I mean, this is developing a lot of structure, but what it hasn't got is the beef and the meat that I want there. And the only way I can get that is if I let that stuff grow out, and I haven't been doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all of these maples, some of them got really nice structure, get them out of those, and put them into deeper pond baskets. I'll make sure there's something under the base so we don't get the roots developing downwards, and then I'm going to feed them heavily and let them go, because in those pots they are just not getting enough room to grow and put on the girth that I want. Hang on, just occurred to me that before we go into getting all these things out of those Marmade pots and into these pond baskets, why have I gone pond basket crazy? Is there some new extra special zoom or boost that you get with it, or what? And to be honest, I can thank one person, Alex Braunton, and you know, well, you've seen him on my channel. We had two of the probably funniest videos. People were convinced we were drinking while we filmed it. And if you haven't seen that video, or both of them, it's worth a laugh, definitely. And you'll see probably one of my favourite collections of maples, and particularly a large Zelkova. Links up there. Well, I saw Alex has got loads and loads of great results with roots and aeration. So last year, you may well know, and if you don't, then you need to go back and have a look, that I did indeed put quite a few maples into pond baskets, and more with the purpose of putting onto flat slates so I could try and get that nice plate style root system. Shall we have a look and see what's happened within a year of doing that, and whether it's worthwhile me continuing and moving all the other ones? This was one of the ones that I just put into the pond basket. Got lots of roots growing from the side, so I'll trim those away and should have a look and see what the root flare looks like in there. Now, I wasn't intending to take these out this year, but do you know what? Even I haven't seen whether there's that much difference, because we can compare what you see here now with what I potentially show you in a minute. No easy way of getting this out. I suppose I'll just... Okay, well, it's certainly kept the radial roots. We've got root growth coming out to the sides here, and there's nice and long. So as you see, I've got it on this slate here. Will I say, wow, I got loads of roots? No. Did I expect more? Maybe. But I am happy with the radial pattern that's there. Overall, it's certainly better, let's be honest, it's certainly better than having it in a round pot where the roots just go round and round and round. So yeah, no, happy with that. And why haven't I got the same sort of results as Alex? It's straightforward. Alex fertilises his trees. He's got a really good fertilisation regime. I just throw some Miracle Grow or some whatever fertiliser I have, probably around the springtime, and if I've got some left, I'll do it in the autumn time as well. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll fertilise these a lot more this year, and we'll see if we get any more difference when we look at this next year. Anyway, shall we now go back and have a look and see what I'm going to do with my my Mame pots now? Okay, so let's get some of these out of the pot, shall we? Okay, well, this is the first one done. And actually, looking at that that root structure, that's developing a nice set of radial roots. And again, I'll do the same thing that I've been doing all along, removing anything that's going down, moving across. I mean, we've actually got this one above what is actually quite a big one there, but I want the big one. So we'll get rid of that one. Got one going downwards there, we don't want that. Got a nice one here. And that'll probably do for now. But this, it could go back in there, but that defeats the object of what I'm trying to do. I want some thickening. So instead, I'm going to be putting that in there. But I won't be putting that in there right now. I've got another 40 of them to do. So I'm now going to put these, as I say, into a bucket of water while I make decisions on what's going to happen to them all. Next one, not wired in. See how it comes out. Loads of roots. You know, I'm not unhappy with how something like that looks, but I've reached a point where I want this to develop much more than it can do in that little pot that it's in. So, you know, I'm making a decision to put it back into development, because if you hadn't worked out, these were bought in 2014, that makes these 10 years old and they're barely an HB pencil thick. Well, I've been at this for about an hour and a half, and how many have I got out there? I've got about a dozen or so out there, and the more I look at them, the more I sit there and think they may look pretty good in a forest planting. They're certainly, what, with 8, 9, 10 years old. It's another hour on from where you last saw me. I've now got them all done in there, and there's a whole brace of them, and I know the sun's shining straight off my face, can't do anything about that. I think I light up the world, that's the real issue. Is it an issue? I think it's a good thing. Do you know how many roots I took off? Full bucket. And to be fair, I was pretty ruthless about it, probably because I haven't actually touched them for at least 2-3 years. Amongst that lot, there's actually some quite good root structure. You know, I was also clipping back branches a little bit, and you know, you can see there's some nice shapes there. And I've cut these back a lot. So there's part of me that was, you know, going, oh, I need to put these into pots. Oh, this could make a good forest. And I thought, no, remind myself, this is all about development. So I'm going to put them into pond baskets. So I'm going to be using a fine 2-3mm mix, usual mix, pumice, zeolite, vermiculite. I'm going to throw them into pond baskets, and probably show you where we go from there. Right, well, I've got all of these back into pond baskets, sorted roots, cut back. I'm happy now that it's a nice growing medium. It's got the root boost as well, and I'm going to let these go for the year and just see how much development we got. Now, I've also kept 5 back, which are a bit straighter, and with those I'm going to do a little, I'm going to have a go at I think it's called an ebiharu or something. So I'm going to put 5 of them through a plate and see if I can develop a plate of roots and get a 5 maple group where it's all plated together. I'm really happy with what I've achieved and done. It may seem like I've taken a big step backwards. Well, truthfully I have, and that's because I didn't recognise that sometimes putting stuff straight into a bonsai pot doesn't help the tree grow, develop and become what you really want of it. And in my case, I recognised that I had lots of sticks in pots. If I can just push them on, thicker roots, thicken up the trunks, then maybe I can get them back in those Mame pots and they'll look just a little bit more like I want them to. Well, we've zapped on ahead. It's the 9th of June now, and one of those rare days when we've actually got sunshine. And here's 3 of the ones that you saw several months. Well, it was a few seconds ago for you, but for me it was several months ago when I went ahead and did the repots. And have I seen some spectacular outpouring of growth? Well, truthfully, knowing how these have behaved over the last few years, the answer is yes. Definitely here, I'm getting a lot more growth, I'm getting a lot more shoots coming out, and the answer is obvious. More soil, more room for the roots to spread, a much more healthy macrobiological.
That's easy for you to say.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. It's healthy down there. All I'm going to be doing is put some more food pellets on there, remove any of the weeds that I don't want competing, but apart from that, lovely. And my expectation is that certainly over the next year or so I would like to see these double in size and hopefully double or at least go up by 25% in girth, which is the aim of this whole exercise for the pond baskets. And I suppose the only thing I will do or make sure is that I'll just have a look at these junctions, make sure we haven't got any energy being wasted where we don't want it. We've got a little shoot here which we'll remove. We'll go around just where there's little shoots we don't want, we'll remove them, because every bit of energy needs to go in one direction, up, much more growth where we want it. So that is, well, in fact, there's a video that probably came out not more than a week ago, just there, which will tell you all about the sort of pruning I do for different stages of development on our maples. And of course, just to be balanced, you know that I also showed you 3 other Mame style trees. I think it was an ash, this Chinese elm, and I said they were staying in the pots. Well, you know, there's good growth here as well, and the reason that is there's a much more mature, defined root system in there. But no, you don't have to put them in pond baskets. You will slowly get what you want. All I do need to do here though is some major pruning, which I shall be doing now, and just cut all these back to places where I want the branches to go. And this is all very, very personal to your style or approach to bonsai. Okay, well, giving it a nice little prune up. It's looking lovely for a mame, and I'm happy with it. Whack some fertilizer in there and let that go. We've got the little sycamore there, it's got little leaves, and really what I'm looking for is buds down here. So very soon As they get a bit bigger, I'm going to cut these right back down. But again, with this, I want to get some fertilizer in there. But that's what I've been growing over however many years. So the next cuts will probably be right down there again. And here's the little ash. Let's give it some food, make it happy, and enjoy the very unique, if not odd, shape. So hopefully you've enjoyed the fact that I've managed to skip us forward a couple of months, and you've seen that certainly there's no disadvantages to going the pond basket route. And I think when we see it next year, 2025, that's when you're really going to see the difference that it's made. I'm glad I've done it, and ultimately it's up to you whether you switch out of your small pots and basically put them back into development. If you've enjoyed this, or if you've got any comments you want to make about what I've done or what I've spoken about, then please fill those comments up. You know, at the moment I'm still able to answer everybody's comment. All I ask is you be polite about it, because I accept not everyone agrees with what I as a hobbyist do. But you know what? I'm enjoying it, and bonsai is supposed to be fun. So if you get anything from it, brilliant, and if you have, great big thumbs up. Otherwise, if you want to look forward to seeing how these have developed in another year, because I'll do a follow-up on all the pond basket stuff next year, then be sure to hit bell notification so you get a reminder through your various feeds or however it works. And apart from that, if you want to subscribe so you can see more of my content, or notice when I put out community posts and all sorts of blah like that, then by all means subscribe, share, but otherwise just enjoy your bonsai. Happy bonsaiing, God bless. Cheers. I don't like being down on my knees, it's really hurting.